I saw on Twitter somebody tweeted that people risk their lives to hear and see this, and this is a fucking what looks like a tiny classroom with no like an emptied out classroom with a tiny stage on it, and like 20 kids moshing. And so in Suffolk County, like I was saying earlier, cases are down, and in New York in general, we're at about 500 to 600 cases a day throughout the entire state, which includes upstate. So it's not that bad. It's about like 100 cases in the county a day.
Mm-hmm.
But with that said, all it takes is a dumb event like this to trigger an uptick. There's a specific reason why there are no concerts at the Nassau Coliseum, which is in Long Island, because this kind of stuff can't happen right now. And I get it. It's summer. People are bored. People are restless, but this is just careless. Anyway, so somebody tweeted, I want to show you, this is what people risked their life to go see. And here it is.
Oh, God. This is so cringy.
I can't hear it.
Yeah, there's no... yeah.
You don't want to hear it.
Yeah,
hold on.
I think he's doing us a favor.
Yeah.
Have we ever shied away from shitty visual and audio content on this show? We played Ja Rule, for God's sakes, with Metallica. There we go.
Was it everything you expected?
Yes.
It's funny, I heard this in my head already while it wasn't playing. Like, the sound is so imprinted in there. Like, you know exactly.
And I do like the captions, not the So I wanted to point out that this guy takes his mask off to sing.
Wait, put the sound off.
Sorry, I want to point out, I'm going to rewind. Notice the guy in the crowd lowers his face mask to then go in and share the mic with the singer and sing along to whatever the vocals are. Watch it.
Whatever they are.
I will say, I think these girls in the back are being pretty responsible. They're staying away from all the ruckus.
They just don't want a guy licking their neck while this is going on. That's nothing to do with COVID.
And so the best part of the story, though, is from this young lady who notes that it should be mentioned that you had to buy a chili cheese dog to be able to stay inside the venue. And 3 out of the 5 bands on the bill were playing their very first show ever. A Hulk Hogan debuted.
A Hulk Hogan debut?
Oh, yeah, he was in the band. He played bass.
Well, it was very fitting because he felt very fat after eating all those chili cheese dogs. Fat pig.
So, I mean,
that's so specific. Why a chili cheese dog? Like, you couldn't just buy any item, or you had to buy that specifically?
Couldn't it have just been like with mustard? Like, come on, I'm gonna go mosh and fucking shit myself after eating a disgusting chili cheese dog? Come on.
Well, that's what. My hypothesis was that you can't have a show, you can't have a concert yet, but in Suffolk County they are allowing indoor dining.
As I found out.
They're skirting the rules by saying, "Oh, they bought food, they're dining," but then of course they ended up fucking having a mosh pit, which is not allowed. Like, there's no way that any rules would allow for a mosh pit or gang vocals or
let's
anything.
Be fair, that mosh pit had like 3 people in it, so
oh my god,
it was a socially distanced mosh pit.
So do you have to stand there with the fucking hot dog in your hand, like moshing
at all times?
Well, here's the thing.
To prove that you're eating?
I'm not
you have
seeing
to eat it at the door before you come in.
They really weren't enforcing it because I'm not seeing anybody hold any sort of hot dog. They all must have downed their hot dogs. I want to see what those bathrooms look like.
Oh, no, you don't.
So to keep going with the story, I was doing my research, doing my investigation, and I was trying to find like who the hell played the show, who put on the show. And so I'm looking at, and it is a Long Island club by the name of Shaker's Pub, which already sounds problematic. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, yeah,
Why?
this sounds
Why?
like a Shaker.
What? Meaning what? What sounds problematic about it?
It sounds like the type of place that would have a COVID show, is what I'm saying.
Oh, well, what kind of place would that be?
Shaker's
What are
Pub.
you-
Shaker's Pub. Just
First of all, it's a pub. Come on. Who
yeah,
goes to
it didn't
pubs?
look. It looked like the back room of the pub. Where is the pub?
So,
It looked like
on this side of the Atlantic, we don't have fucking pubs. All right.
Oh
Fuck
my
out.
god!
It looks like, you know what it looks like? It looks like one of those rooms that like apartment buildings rent out for birthdays.
Have
That
you ever-
Well, that's where hardcore shows take place.
Yeah.
I mean, if
So,
you do
yeah.
a Google search for it, look at the
Uh-oh.
first picture that comes up in like the
Shaker's Pub we're
Google
talking
map.
about?
yeah.
Is,
I mean,
is that
we've
like
all
the,
been to.
the same apartments that were used for apartment wrestling back in the day? Sid, do you remember
Yeah,
that? Okay,
sure.
yeah. They used to have these apartment wrestling matches. I wonder if they're just using them for hardcore shows now.
Oh no,
About
no, like in
this?
the Google map. No, like go back
Oh.
to all.
Little tech support.
Yeah.
Hit the back button. Yeah, that with the old.
Oh, there you
email.
go. It's nice.
Oh, I wanted to go to The Hang Kitchen. It's right next door.
The hang.
The Hang, yeah.
Oh.
There's the band.
Oh, there's some lighting sometimes.
Wow,
Oh, look
whoever
at this-
I gotta give a
Look
lot
at this
of props.
cocktail.
Whoever took these pictures is a great photographer. Like it looks like an actual venue.
Right.
And then you see that video and it's like
Oh, and look, all military personnel, law enforcement, firefighters get happy hour prices all day, every day. Must provide proper ID.
must buy a chili cheese dog.
No, they get
Look
one-
at these!
Oh, man.
I
Is
think
that
I know
big-
that guy.
This is like Big Pun's body count. This is his side project hardcore band.
It's just Crowbar.
Who is this person?
Oh, come on,
The
Rob.
singer of Anvil.
Well, it's right next door to the Lizard Lounge. Did you know
Oh,
that?
no.
Well, I also want to. Oh, I have to log
Is there
in to
login
see it.
information there? So I'm wondering, like that police thing. Like, are they maybe they're like leftists and they just want to get like cops to catch COVID in their club?
Well, so yeah, what I was getting at is I found a promoter who's actively promoting shows, Rock Island Management, at this club and other clubs in Suffolk County. And I want you to look at this fucking disclaimer.
Okay.
I'm like burping my ass off.
By the way, that
What's
is
this?
not.
Jeez.
These are like anal beads or something. What is? That's not what COVID-19 looks like. They're like,
That's like a dog toy.
Yeah.
To, like clean their teeth.
Yeah. So
Benoit balls
this,
or something.
this is on the Instagram. There's been some concerns that I'd like to address. Before our show Friday, I was in contact with the county to find out if we could hold our event and what precautions were required. We were told 50% capacity, masks.
Not a
required for-
problem. 50% would be a high watermark for our
But-
promotion.
You have to take into account, Sid, that 90% of the people attending this show are over 350 pounds and severely bloated and diabetic. So they may be over the capacity, even though the number of bodies is not.
Half the
high.
room is taken up by their walkers that they have to put to the side.
With their 5XL ECW joints. Sorry, Rob. Go ahead.
Sorry about that.
It was my
We're
fault.
told 50% capacity masks are required for entry, and all employees are required to wear masks.
That's
We
good.
do not have any authority to make guests wear masks. What? Yeah, you do.
Yeah.
We just need to require that they have them,
Ah,
but wearing them is a personal choice.
Oh, for
I
fuck's
think it's
sake.
stupid not to.
So
Like, what?
wouldn't carrying them also be a personal choice? But they're restricting that, so why can't
Well, they're
Yeah.
saying they have
Isn't
to
wear-
have one.
Isn't
Right.
wearing
Hey.
shoes inside a grocery store also a personal choice?
yes, but they can restrict that, so why can't they restrict not wearing a mask too?
Exactly.
Well, he just doesn't want to.
Right. He's lying. He does have the authority. He's just not enforcing
So
it.
he keeps going. I think it's stupid not to wear one. Had mine on the whole time, but others didn't, and that's on them.
No, it's on you!
That's on you. You're the
Dickhead.
fucking promoter. And not
Asshole.
only like, and it's like, here's the thing: you're putting everyone else in danger by that person just exposing their fucking germs to everything.
Right.
Don't get me started.
Masks
Don't
are
get me
not
started.
like 100% effective. You know, it just like reduces things.
They're
down,
like
so.
they're as effective as we got at the moment.
Right. No. My point though is that if you start letting people in without masks, that even the people with the masks have a chance of getting infected.
Mhm.
Right.
Right.
So anyway, so he says this whole stupid thing, and I accidentally wrote initially that he promoted this show, but he is denying that he promoted the show. Now, some people in the comments have said
Wasn't me.
that he is lying and that he did promote it, but we'll get into that. But so he messaged me. He sent me this long ass message, and I want to read it right now because it you know. Let me read.
Wait.
Go ahead.
Before you read it, can I ask you a difficult question?
Uh-oh.
Can I put you on the spot,
Sure.
bro?
What was the whole live journal thing about?
Do you really think that I'm boobalicious? No. Why did you start the
Yes.
article saying that you're still gathering the information instead of just like gathering the information and then writing the article?
Oh, shit.
It's
Well,
not-
I
it's
was
not, oh,
hoping.
shit.
No, are you from Axios?
Well, I'm sharing all the information that I gathered up until that point because I felt it was enough to write about. But the other information to gather would have been the bands that played and who would have been promoting. And I was hoping that by publishing the article, I would get further tips.
Which you did.
Yeah. And I
Okay.
updated the article actually within the hours. Within the hour or
Capiche.
two after publishing.
I think me and some of the Metal Injection commenters were wondering about that. So I just wanted to ask me and Libtard Pazbani or whatever his name is.
I didn't see Libtard leave a comment on the story. He should have left it. I would have addressed him. I would have addressed it with Mr. Tard.
We texted about it.
So, oh my God, I just
Bob
checked
is
the comments and the comments on the post got me sidetracked. I can't wait to get through those too. So anyway, so he posted this as he posted a shorter version of this as a comment on my story and a comment on my Facebook post linking to the story. So he tracked me down. This guy who
else does he
wrote
have
that
to do?
message. To be clear, this is the guy who wrote that message saying everyone has to have a mask, but I'm not going to make them wear it. And he is actively promoting concerts in that venue and other venues. So with all that in mind, here is his story. I mean, here is his personal message to me. Mr. Pazbani, and he spells it correctly.
Oh.
Why is my name and company being mentioned in an article about a show that I was not associated with in any way? I do not know how that show was run. I do not know what guidelines they did or did not follow. I don't even do hardcore shows. This is a clear case of deformation of character.
That has to be the episode title.
And if my name and company name is not removed from this article immediately, I will be contacting my lawyer. I think you should be also aware. This is where it gets good. I think you should also be aware that in your article, you are quoting New York City policy. Suffolk County policy has a much lower population and very different policy. And to be clear, I quoted both policies. Before holding any shows out there, it's weird that he says out there, meaning Suffolk County, but isn't he in Suffolk County? So wouldn't it be out here?
Yeah.
But anyway,
Yeah.
before holding any shows out there, unless he's a Russian agent promoting shows in Suffolk County from Russia. We don't know this.
Maybe he
Or
lives
he's
in
a
Nassau
people-
County.
Yeah, or he lives in the city or something.
But imagine living in the city and I guess you could do it. Why not? Make the
You don't
money.
have to go there.
Uh,
Yeah, you just post some fucking Facebook posts.
So he says, before holding any shows out there, I was, in all caps, in contact with their Department of Health and was told nothing about 10 people and nothing about food. And this is referencing me saying that in New York City, you're not allowed to have more than 10 people at an indoor gathering. But I said that in the outer regions, that is not as strict, and they have allowed indoor dining. So he's saying, I was told we were allowed no more than 50% capacity. We must keep track of the door because officers would be aware of the event and could be stopping by to check our numbers. I was also told no one would be allowed entry without a mask and that I should consider having masks to provide for people who don't have one, which I did and gave out at no cost. They also told me to try, in all caps, to maintain social distancing and try to get people to wear the masks, but that I have no legal authority to enforce that.
Could I ask a question? So he's saying he had nothing to do. So what show is he talking about? If the show you're writing about, he says he had nothing to do with.
Exactly. How does he know so much?
Yeah.
Like, what the fuck is he talking about?
What show was he giving out masks at then?
He's saying it shows he promoted that have happened at this venue.
Okay, so then he wants to sue you for deformation of character over semantics. I ran plenty of shitty shows at this place, just not this specific one.
Yes, that's exactly.
I'm violating the laws, but not at this show. That was somebody else violating the laws.
So he goes on. There's a little more to this. He goes on. At my events, I put chairs on the floor so there's no moshing as seen in your videos. They are spread 6 feet apart, and I am frequently asking guests to put their masks on. Now, this contradicts what he said earlier, where he doesn't ask them. I do take precaution, and as a result, in the 4 shows we've had we've got permission. Not a single band member, guest, or employee came down with COVID. As if he's doing tests and following up with all of and doing contact tracing.
Yeah,
all these people. Again, I am not a member of the hardcore scene, and I don't even know the people involved with the show. Now, here's the best part. He says, "On a personal note," he means on a personal note.
I got it. Yeah.
On a personal note, your magazine, which I have a magazine. Thanks. Your magazine does almost nothing to promote and support local bands, but you seem to be willing to be the first ones to call them out when they do something wrong. How does that help the scene? You do realize that a lot of these venues and a lot of these kids and these bands didn't get stimulus checks, small business loans, and don't even qualify for unemployment. They've been sitting at home for 5 months being supported by their families. Putting an enormous strain on them. The government is doing nothing to support these people, many of whom had to sell their cars, move back home, and can't even afford to pay their phone bills. Is it such a terrible thing that they're just trying to put a little money in their pockets?
Became a rabbi? What is this? Is it such a terrible thing? Some kids want to make some money doing a show. All right, you get COVID, fine. You get a little cough, that's it. A little phlegm comes up. But you see the show. You had a good time. That's what we really want.
He goes, especially when they're doing their best to follow the county guidelines.
I mean, if you really cared about the bands, you would let them go and not write a story. But you don't care, so it's all right, But so what? It's all right. You're a bad person. Can't help that.
Well, this next slide is some of like Fox News level gaslighting. He goes, I think what you're doing is disgusting, but it is your First Amendment right.
He means with the sunflower seeds, what you do with the...
Yeah, the fact that you
I would just ask that you do your
them.
job, check your facts, and call out the right people.
Which is who?
Not him.
Rob.
Yeah.
I don't want to be perceived as taking sides because you are my friend. I've known you for 20 years, but I have to agree with him on one thing. and that is that the print version of Metal Injection does not promote bands at all, local bands. In fact,
yeah, the Metal Injection magazine.
I flipped through it cover to cover this month, and there was like not one mention of a local band in there.
It's just ads for massage parlors. It's fucking
And
weird.
Babes
what
of the
happened to
Day.
that magazine. I don't get it.
Just all babes of the day, and then like 2 pages of metal news.
But also, technically, isn't every band local to somewhere? So any band Rob covers is technically a local band.
Great point, Sid. Great point.
Yeah, suck it, whoever you are. What's his name
Yeah.
again?
Rob didn't say his name. He doesn't want
It doesn't matter what his name is.
Turn that chili cheese dog sideways.
Line it up real nice.
So I want to say, Noah, say something.
Hello?
Hey,
Okay,
the
great.
calls
Yay, the
work.
phones are
Long
working.
Island.
Long Island, you're on the air.
The phones are working 213 wide nut. So if you were at this show, give us a ring a ding ding. 213 wide nut.
Okay.
So I want to mention as well that when I saw this message, and he sent this message to me on my Facebook, on my Instagram, whatever.
LinkedIn?
I haven't logged into my LinkedIn yet,
Yeah,
but
check.
I'll check it out.
Did he rewrite it and reword it, or copy and paste? I'm picturing him backing this out 4 different times differently.
Yeah.
Yeah, is it the same
It's
typos in
weird
all the
because
posts?
he copied and same typos. He copied and pasted, but in the public sphere, he left out the personal note.
Oh, okay.
He just said the part about the defamation, but the personal note was only on my Facebook. And so, I don't know if you guys know this, but in Facebook, in your messages, they filter out messages from people who aren't your friends. Those are message requests.
Right.
So you don't immediately see those. And so I went and checked, and I had another message in my message requests.
Ooh.
And it is, in fact, from the owner of Shaker's Pub.
Mr. Shaker?
No, Mr. Pup.
Himself?
Mr. Puff.
Mr. Pimp?
I want to point out how unbelievably sexist all of you are to assume that the owner of Shaker's Pub is a man, or identifies as a man, I should say, because it is, in fact, well, I don't want to assume gender, but
Oh,
it is a woman.
Okay.
wow.
So this woman.
I'm curious what she's shaking.
And I'll post a picture in our group chat. I don't want to dox her publicly. So she sent me a message as well, and it is even more unhinged, shorter, more unhinged than the message from the promoter. He goes, she goes,
She looks like she's 23 years old. She's the owner of this bar?
She's definitely not the owner. She's probably
her parents are the owners.
or like a person who's local and goes there a lot.
No, it's her. I mean, she's the promoter. So like her Facebook page is all about Shakers.
Yeah, it's her favorite bar.
No, it's about how 5 years ago Shakers opened its doors. 5 years ago, I dedicated to this business and to the Long Island music scene.
Oh,
Blah, blah,
okay.
blah.
All right, so
Anyway.
what does she have to say?
So here's her message. She says, "Hi, I would like to discuss the article you wrote. First, there's many false statements in the article. Masks were required to be worn at all times. The promotion company you named was not the correct one, so you are not providing accurate information, which is actually deformation of character because that could possibly hurt."
She
He
said
said
too?
the same thing?
Yes.
It's probably the same. She's probably the Rock Island Management Group.
You got catfished, Rob.
The Rock Island management person is a man, so they could be they could be a couple.
He could be just posing as that person to like show that there's 2 people against you.
And it's so funny. I just looked at the management company guy's Facebook page, and he says he lives in East Rockaway. But our mutual friend is Rob from Candiria, who you might recall to be the one who appeared on Frankie Palmieri's podcast to talk about the temple and talk about Robert Pasbini.
Pasabini, whatever his name is.
Thank you. So to finish off her statement, she says, the promotion company you named was not the correct one, so you are not providing accurate information, which is actually deformation of character, because that could possibly hurt that individual business in the long run, which they had nothing to do with. The bar was kept under 50% capacity.
What does that mean? How many people is that?
8.
Whatever the legal capacity is, they kept less than half. I also want to point out, no denying the chili cheese dog part of the story.
Well, they're delicious, Rob. Why would she deny that?
That's like the thing that looks the least bad in this story.
Yeah.
He served food.
This has to be our next, like, Tad Steak style Patreon bonus, where we go to this place and try the chili cheese dogs.
Oh,
Do
man.
you think they would recognize you? Do you think there's like a wanted sign with your face on it at this bar now?
Do not let this guy in.
I mean, I would love. Go ahead.
I guarantee that Rob's face is where they play darts. Like they just throw
Yes,
darts.
yeah.
It is
a pub.
I'd love to do that, but that place is now like a petri dish of COVID-19.
Oh, yeah.
Right, there is the other side of it, which is we would get the COVID.
Could we do like maybe like a pickup order?
Maybe
you want something that came out of that edifice?
Just for the comedy, just for the.
We don't go in. We just go and review the chili cheese dog and then leave. Because do they give it to you at the door?
That's only for hardcore shows. We'd go like during the day.
We'll be sitting in the ICU with like an intubated like ventilator, cracking up at what a hilarious joke we did.
What if we make our own chili cheese dogs, bring like some like patio furniture, and just set up on their sidewalk, eat our own chili cheese dogs, and then leave?
Patio.
This has to be a road trip, though. We've got to do this.
They're having their big Summer's End blowout bash at Shaker's Pub on August 28th. So if we're not doing anything, we could all.
Who's playing? What's the lineup?
Color Mask,
Marauder, Still Suit,
Scarlet's Alibi.
Oh, my favorite.
Ronin,
Earth Crisis,
The Yellow Lights,
Floor Punch,
Vitro,
Sandwich.
and TBA.
To be announced, or is that an actual band?
It's Black Crossing Band.
You didn't say who was playing the chili cheese dog show. You never called out those bands. Promote the
The
local
only
bands, right?
band, the only band that was identified was NYC Shootout, and like.
Oh, I chose them for my Spotify playlist this week.
They have no
that's right.
music. What's so funny is I'm pretty sure the band created a Twitter account after I wrote about the story. And they were so pumped on it, and they had 20 followers. So bless them.
Bad publicity is good publicity.
Yeah.
You said they have to
for 20
capitalize.
followers.
So the good news, they're a hardcore band, so all the letters are capitalized, just like every hardcore band.
And I believe their logo is in Comic Sans, so that's a double win for you, Sid.
Whoa! Can we do a thrash it or trash it on their music?
There's no music.
No,
This is their first show ever. You think they have music? Are you kidding me?
Usually people have demos. How else do they get booked? What are they getting booked off of? It's very questionable